Welcome to Working for Progress, a podcast that connects us through conversations about how we craft our working lives and make progress. Through open and thoughtful conversations, our podcast starts with simple pleasures, finishes in awe, and meanders through career journeys in between. This podcast is rooted in Tribe Porty, a community co-working space and creative hub filled with entrepreneurs, freelancers, charities, social enterprises, and SMEs. We believe in the power of connection, sharing stories that inspire, challenge, and celebrate the many ways we shape our working lives. Join us as we dive into the realities of work, purpose, and progress, one conversation at a time. Maureen Evans is an executive coach, Pilates teacher, and owner of Movement and Wellness Studio. She's a former risk consultant and audit director and has worked with risk, coaching, and movement clients across the globe. Welcome, Maureen.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to start out nice and easy with your 5 simple pleasures.
My 5 simple pleasures. I think you maybe asked me this to think about this beforehand, but I can't remember.
I don't think I did. It's a sneaky question.
One.
Yeah.
Jumping in the North Sea.
Okay.
Or the Firth of Forth, probably. Actually, any water that's cold.
Cold water.
Yeah, any cold water. Walking at sunset springs to mind.
Nice.
There's a lot of nature stuff here, probably. Cuddling my husband.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's really warm, and especially right now that's really important because it's cold outside. My simple pleasure right now is listening to vinyl while we play a board game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We did that over Christmas, actually. It was really nice.
Well, we've decided to keep that Christmas tradition going.
I like it, yeah.
And number 5 I can't think of right now, but
That's
connecting with people.
Nice. They are simple pleasures. I think, more and more people, I don't know, maybe it's still post-COVID, but these points of connection, maybe we have a better awareness of how valuable they are because it was taken away from us, or maybe it was there before. I don't know. I've always liked connection, but it seems to be a common theme at least.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Kind of, I was thinking about it because actually for me, COVID actually was quite joyous. I mean, I was so fortunate because I live in a small village and all of the golf courses around us were all closed. So we had extra park space and especially to start with, the weather was beautiful. And actually and I had I've got the North Sea within a mile's walk. So, yes, I reflect on it as a time when I really could indulge in those simple pleasures, and that's
yeah, I was similar. Yeah, I think maybe for the first time too that I actually properly had to stop. Probably from a very young age, like as young as probably 14. Yeah, and it was a huge relief. Yeah. I mean, once I sorted out all the money stuff and business stuff and all that, and there were no real choices, so there was no real point of worrying. And you knew you weren't the only one, so you knew something had to happen. You couldn't just lose everything. Yeah. I mean, maybe some people did, and I was fortunate as well. Yeah. The weather was amazing. Yeah. We spent so much time in our garden. Yeah. Yeah. I know, which is I feel kind of bad saying how great it was sometimes, but I'm with you. Yeah. Well,
but I think it's kind of relevant to values and because or kind of where we're at now or where I'm at now, because I guess I probably then last year was probably really, really busy with personal stuff, work-wise as well. But and it feels like this year, because I couldn't do all of this stuff for so many years, and then I feel like I'm rediscovering, going, well, what was it that was special about that lockdown, that COVID time? Yeah, that actually I want to re-find.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I think I think you're probably not alone. We kind of experience these things individually, but I often feel collectively there's a kind of current that's probably quite familiar for a lot of people. Yeah. Speaking of values, do you have values that you live by, or can you tell me your top 3, or you can tell me one or more?
Yeah, well, I did a bit of work. I've always kind of struggled to articulate them, and luckily I did an additional coaching course last year, so one of the pieces of work in deep self-reflection was thinking about values. So kindness came out for me as a big one. And it's not in, I don't know, a lot of people say kindness is really important. It feels to me like it's so fundamental that actually when people are unkind, then it really throws me. Yeah, so it's kind of, and I guess it's in terms of respecting other people. And it's that Scottish thing of we're all Jack Tamson's bairns, or we're all in this together. The other two that I kind of was thinking about before I came to speak with you was exploration and connection. And we've kind of spoken about connections already, but exploration for me was kind of linked with learning when I was thinking about values last year. And it's the micro adventures. It's jumping on the bike for 20 minutes and going down to the beach, or heading outdoors for 20 minutes. It's bigger stuff as well, but it's also, for me, exploration and learning are tied together, because I get so much out of learning about who I am and learning about what others think.
And do you bring those values into your work? Do you see that kind of exploration, curiosity when you're working with people?
Yeah, curiosity is a good word. Yeah, I guess so. And it's the natural curiosity that leads me to do coaching work and to do movement work.
I mean, I think there's nothing worse than someone you're trying to get support from that's not interested in who you are. So it's probably quite vital to your work.
Yeah. And I think probably when I first started doing this type of work, then I was desperately trying to work with anyone. Maybe we all go through that journey.
I think you have to when you're starting out. I mean, you can't really be choosy. You're trying to get something going.
Yeah. But I am much more, I'll do exploration with someone, and actually if it's not right for them and it's not right for me, and I sense that they're not really curious about learning, then I don't take it any further and suggest other options for them.
Yeah. How long have you been coaching and doing movement practices?
So I moved from my risk consulting world in 2011.
Okay.
So what's that? 14 years now. And I kind of took a bit of a weird route into coaching, in that I moved from the corporate world into movement work, and then discovered actually there's something in this work that about awareness of self that I can apply with people through coaching work, whether it's business owners, whether it's professionals, whether it's people that are coming to the, so I worked with a charity chief executive looking at what she does next, and she ended up kind of doing some more global work at the same time as just planning some more retirement type projects. I'm saying retirement in inverted commas.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
What's retirement these days?
Yeah. So I've been doing that for 7 years. So 14 years for one, 7 years for the other. So and then kind of 6 years after starting doing my coaching work, I did a big an additional coaching qualification last year, kind of not quite master coach level, but a more advanced coaching level with the Academy of Executive Coaching.
Ah, cool.
So
can I ask how you got into that space? I read something about being in pain and your kind of relationship with pain. So, and my next question is kind of around risk. So what is the biggest risk you've taken? Or if that's not aligned with that question, can we spend a moment around like pain as a teacher and your thoughts about that?
Yeah. I kind of want to answer both questions.
Please do. Yeah, good.
So the biggest risk is, moving into the movement world.
Yeah. It's a very different world than what you were used to.
Yeah. And I was really naive. I didn't realise how hard it was going to be. I didn't realise, I kind of thought, I'll go off. My original qualification, it's called Pilates. but movement's movement, bodies are bodies. So, and it was a very kind of somatic type of learning of movement that I started from the beginning. So I was really lucky. I had really good teachers. But I kind of thought, I'll learn Pilates and then that'll be me. I'll know Pilates. And here I am 14 years later, still learning about movement. One of my mentors that I work with, I attend his class every week, and every week I learn something.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm so lucky. It's really. So yeah, I had chronic back pain from about the age of 19.
Okay.
And just kind of thought I had to live with it. And then I was training for a big hike that I was doing. I trekked across the Pyrenees in 2000. I don't know what year.
2000
a year.
something.
maybe 2000 and something. And I was getting knee pain, and the physio said, "Oh, you should try Pilates." And I thought, I don't know what that thing is, but I went along to the class, and then I did the 500-mile hike and didn't get knee pain.
Wow.
And thought, oh, there's something in this, but was still in my corporate world, carrying laptops, traveling around the world on and off airplanes, and kind of just ignored it until I went on I started a new role and was being told what a good job that I was doing by my boss, and all my stakeholders were loving it. And I got sent on a women in leadership training course. And one of the things that I got asked in that training course was, what would you do if you were brave enough? And then the words came out of my mouth, oh, I would go and become a Pilates teacher.
So you had to do it.
I had to do it. Yeah. So hard as it was, crazy as it was, I went and did it. Everybody thought I was completely mad because I had a really successful career.
Yeah.
And I was giving all of this success up to go and do something that they just didn't understand.
Yeah. What do you think that your career in that corporate world taught you in terms of who you are now and what you're doing now?
I think, and I was talking with an ex-colleague about this recently, and we both agreed that it taught us to do things right.
And what do you mean by right?
So our big boss, I'm going to call him, was really clear that because, well, we were in internal audit, we were a global audit function, and that actually we wouldn't cut corners. So if there was a process to be followed, then we would do it correctly. That sounds really dull.
No.
A bit dull. But I think it's given me a sense of ethics. Actually, that ethics is probably a better word.
And maybe a level of excellence? Are you talking about kind of, doing
Possibly.
a very good job?
Yeah, probably that as well. Yeah. I think it came to the fore for me recently when I had to examine professional ethics as part of the exam I was doing last year for my coaching. And I kind of looked and realised that I was adopting a lot of these ethics anyway, even although I hadn't read them in that format. So that came to the fore for me. And professional excellence is interesting because, yes, I would say yes. And probably professional excellence in that from the moment I set up my business and started branding, the kind of look and feel of it was really important for me.
Yeah.
But as you know, that professional excellence can come with a level of need for perfectionism. So there's been the coaching battle of going, I want to be perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, that tension. And do you feel like you're hard on yourself, or how do you combat that kind of perfectionism side?
I think weirdly I wouldn't use the word perfectionism to describe. Maybe that means it's so deeply ingrained.
I'm just thinking about audits, and you're right, it's very clear. There's very clear lines to follow, aren't there? I mean, I don't know a lot about audits, but
so probably to come back to your earlier question about pain as a teacher, I think it's kind of, rather than going right, there's clear lines to follow, and this will be a linear recovery process. Actually, for my own body, which I can then teach with movement clients, it's about if I describe it to people as like a game of snakes and ladders. So you might have pain, you might feel like you're recovering and then have pain, and then that pain's probably telling you something, but you haven't gone right down back to the bottom of the snakes and ladders board. We're all the way back to board games again.
That's fine. And do you do a combination then of movement and talking in your work? Or because just thinking somatically, sometimes it isn't just physical movement, sometimes it's deeper than that. I don't know, more cellular than that in terms of traumas or where you hold things, or
and I approach it in that I don't need to talk with someone about the traumas.
Okay.
And I know there's different ways of approaching it, and I've got a colleague who works out of my studio who approaches it more directly and kind of she's a counsellor, so she approaches it more directly in terms of the traumas. For me, it's about providing a place of hope for people. And actually they'll know that they feel better. They'll know that their body feels better, and that they're getting better. The way I describe my work at its most basic level is we're creating positive movement experiences so that the body understands that it's safe to move. And I say to them, and the brain understands that it's safe to move. And I know in my own body, and I bring it more in coaching work than I do in the movement work, but particular emotions or particular memories will be held in particular places, and that'll bring up stuff, but not everybody's able to feel that to that level, especially if they've been in quite a lot of pain. Then they might not be ready for that. So it's quite a slightly different approach that I take with my movement work versus my coaching work in that respect. One's more explicit and one's more implicit. About this challenge that you're facing, let's talk about that. And one's more, okay, well, let's explore what the body wants to do, and let's find something that feels good in the body. I've been thinking about leadership lately, partly because of the elections recently.
And if I was naming women that I know of, you would come up as a leader.
Oh, wow.
Do you consider yourself that way? And I don't think that as women we are very quick to call ourselves leaders. And your face lit up a bit. I think you recognize what I'm saying, but do you describe yourself that way?
I got a bit of goosebumps talking about somatic awareness. I got a bit of goosebumps down the back of my body. I sat back a bit and I thought, gosh, she's not talking about me. And then what's interesting is that when I think about you, I always think about, oh, she's a leader. And I was kind of, and as I'm talking this through, I'm thinking about some of the work that I do sometimes in coaching, where I'll get people to think about people that have particular qualities that they admire, and then get them to think about those qualities in themselves.
Because we do that, don't we? We see, we're looking for what we know of ourselves quite often, or we're slightly triggered by something in ourselves that someone else is reflecting back on us.
I do, and I don't think of myself as a leader.
I mean, it's a funny, I don't know, that I'm the same. There's a bit of tension with part of me is comfortable saying I feel like a leader because I want other women to also feel like leaders, and then part of me is like, oh well, I'm not saying that because for my ego, I'm not really bothered that way, but in my head when I'm thinking about leaders, those qualities like being humble and competent and kind and looking for others instead of yourself, like those are leadership qualities for me. And you just don't see them very often in our stereotypical leader. So I was just making a point of wanting to talk about those kind of leadership skills that I value, and I would say that's very much you as well.
No, thank you. The book that kind of resonated for me was Turn the Ship Around.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, and it's written by a US naval commander.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't want to read that. And then actually what's really interesting was he took over a new ship that he had no knowledge of. He had a short period of time, so he had to rely on his I don't know what you call them. I'm going to call him team.
Yeah.
So he had to rely on them. And so he had to listen really well. He had to be humble.
That too, listening.
Yeah. Yeah, he had to respect them and be kind to them. And so it's talking about how those are not skills that we would see a naval commander as typically inhabiting, but he then became the most successful naval commander in the US history or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those stories because they're more real to me. But, you know, we kind of, in the media or in films, we see this kind of aggressive, power-hungry, assertive, you know, as if one person can know everything without, you know, needing to ask for other people's thoughts and opinions. But yeah, that still seems to be what we hold up as a good leader. Yeah.
For me, when I read that book, I thought, oh, this is good. Maybe I am a leader. Maybe all of that stuff in the corporate world, all of that work that I was doing, where I was listening to my team more and I was kinder and not without being challenging to them. It doesn't mean that you can't. That I wasn't challenging and doing a good job, but I think at the time I felt like, oh, I'm not fulfilling those stereotypes, therefore I'm not as good a leader as the other people.
That's the thing, isn't it? And you know, probably I'm making some assumptions, but I reckon those men that are held up as leaders actually don't feel qualified inside. They're just very good at that outside appearance and masking, you know, what people want them to do and be like and how they're going to be seen. You mentioned retirement in inverted commas. I just wondered if you had some thoughts around kind of your next 20 years, or I don't want to put a time frame on it, but how do you think about kind of aging and work and how you want to live your life in terms of kind of that third stage?
I suppose I think more of the future than I ever did, but I don't really do I think about the future? I do. I'm not great. I hate planning.
Okay. I wondered if you're a planner,
actually.
Out loud. No, it's fine. I'm a little bit surprised.
No, people are, so I don't often confess to it. But I started running workshops with my movement clients, and they're called The Aging Body. And one of the questions that I ask them is, what would you like to be able to do when you're 100?
Yeah.
And I think it's as relevant in your body as it is in your mind or your work or whatever that is. And it feels to me like we can be, if we want to be so well and healthy later in life, that we should be taking advantage of that.
Yeah. I think we're a bit more knowledgeable now too, in terms of, you know, what you need to do when, and not wait until it's much, much harder when you're 70s, 80s, 90s to gain strength or flexibility. And we're living longer, but we're not necessarily living better.
No. And I noticed when I went to the toilet briefly before we started talking, that someone has written they want to be able to deadlift 200 kilos.
I saw that as well, yeah. I think I know who that is. A woman as well, no? Yeah.
So I started deadlifting last year, which feels really empowering.
Yep.
And based on all this research around aging, I was like, I need to get stronger. And I felt myself, I'm 55 now, I felt my strength had started to go.
Same, especially in the hands. I'm like, what is happening? I don't like this.
So actually I'm feeling stronger having started doing that, but I'm up to like 45 kilo, which I think is really heavy.
When I read that too, I was like, I don't actually, because I do pounds as well, I get very confused. I'm like, that's a lot, no? That is a lot. Right?
It is a lot. It's really impressive. So you're right. The research is showing that we can do more physically, and that we should be doing more strength work. But also, I think I think what's important to me from a client perspective is to give them hope and opportunity, and whether it's in their working world or whether it's in their physical body, to go, actually, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I think the same.
Mm-hmm.
When we do our kind of strategy, I think a good way to think about things is like, what's the 100-year plan for Tribe? Because we're so short-term thinking quite often. I like this idea of, well, what's my, what do I want to be doing at 95? And actually, it's not doing nothing, sitting in a chair by myself watching telly. That's not the dream.
Yeah. And you're kind of reminding me of the podcast, the one where the long time thinking podcast. I think it is, which was a series like 3 podcasts, I think, talking about future generations. And talking about deep time and what time means, because especially for me, especially probably in the last 10 years, and my mum passed away at the beginning of 2023, so that concept that actually we're really not here for very long.
I know.
Yeah, so what does tribe mean? So almost, what's really nice, they talk about having a representative of future generations on your board or however, which I really, someone is there and it's their role as a future generation. That might be 7 generations hence, it might be not as many as that. I like that. I think we need to move towards that kind of thinking more and more, especially when we think about the planet as well, and everything's been so short-term thinking. Last question. When is the last time you experienced the state of flow or had that kind of sense of awe? Probably in coaching conversations with clients.
I can imagine. Does that happen quite often? And is there like a formula that you can feel, or is it just happens?
Yeah, I think so. When I did my course last year, one of my peers said that the questions just seem to appear out of me. And so it's quite intuitive. Yeah.
Do you think that's a combination of kind of experience, but also in some way trusting in the process or what you do, that you can just kind of see what happens?
Yeah, I think it definitely is. It's been a process of learning to trust myself, and been a process of not trying to do the coaching and go, right, I've got to be a good coach, because then I get in the way of the really good questions. I love that. We interviewed Loretta, who's a death doula and also a midwife, and she talks about it similarly. She kind of thinks about it in terms of getting herself out of the way and just see what comes, but that is off the back of 30 years of experience kind of thing. So I think you can do that when you have enough experience behind you to trust in yourself. You're right. And I think it's a combination of having that experience and learning and knowing that is a process. So kind of for me, it's been a process also. And maybe this comes back to the, like you were saying, as a female leader, having to have that conversation with myself and go, okay, look at all of this experience you've got. It's okay to trust yourself. And actually for me, it's really interesting, because when I'm not trusting myself, I notice that I'm not trusting the client. And I'm kind of going, oh, well, they're not going to succeed at that, or maybe not quite as judgy as that, maybe sometimes as judgy as that. But if I really, kind of dig down and trust myself, then I can get more of a sense that, they're going to be all right.
I think we should do that more often. I've been trying to do that myself, kind of, if someone's really, really irritating me, be like, what is it in you that you're finding in them? Because that's probably really what's going on. And it is kind of freeing in the sense of, Oh yeah, I still got some learning to do.
Yeah.
Thank you for teaching me.
And I went on a beautiful yoga retreat in mid-December last year, which was great because nobody spoke about Christmas for 4 days. And my teacher had just been to India, so we were doing a lot of Om Namaha, which I'm not an expert in yoga, but it's that kind of not me, not mine.
Yeah, okay.
So that has been quite interesting for me as well.
Yeah, that's nice too. That's freeing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose in the sense of not holding that in your body, that's quite big.
Yeah, not holding. Yeah, and I was reminded of that. My heating hasn't worked at home for 2 weeks, so
no.
I was reminded of that last week when the heating engineer came and then disappeared off 40 minutes later, leaving me without heating. So I was like, yeah, not me, not mine.
Although you are cold.
Yeah, but it's lovely and warm in here, so
you can stay if you need to. Oh, thanks so much.
Brilliant.
Love the chat.
No, thank you.
To show your support, please like and subscribe to this podcast. If you'd like to learn more and stay connected to Tribe Porty and Working for Progress, please visit tribeporty.org. There you can subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where we share monthly blogs offering insights into how we craft our working lives. This has been Working for Progress. We hope you join us again.